Ex-Boeing manager raises alarm on jets returning to service. And I got to tell you, this makes me feel great with all the flying I'm doing these days.
Oh, my God.
I personally will not fly United because they have the most Max planes of any airline.
Of course they do.
And,
of course United
and
does.
Also the insane DEI policies. You should really just hire the people who passed the test. I'm sorry. So this is from the Los Angeles Times. Last weekend, Alaska Airlines and United Airlines resumed flying some of their Boeing Max 9 planes, all of which were grounded after a door panel on a Max 9 blew out in midair January 5th. Although airlines, regulators, and Boeing maintain that the planes are safe after a federally approved inspection and maintenance process, you can't make it up. Critics argue that serious questions remain about the long-troubled Maxes.
Imagine if the vaccine were handled this poorly, how bad that would be.
Boeing is telling us these planes are safe and effective, but I think we're allowed to question that. The Max 8 had, I think after 2 crashes, you're allowed to question it. The Max 8 had 2 crashes in 2018 and 2019 that killed 346
Jesus
people.
Christ.
Quote, I would absolutely not fly a Max airplane, said Ed Pearson, a former Boeing senior manager.
And conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, well, he's been one of the main people on this. A lot of this story first got my attention because of things that he wrote. I've worked in the factory where they were built, and I saw the pressure employees were under to rush the planes out the door. I tried to get them to shut down before the first crash. I would tell my family to avoid the Max. I would tell everyone, really, said Joe Jacobson, a former engineer at Boeing and the Federal Aviation Administration. Aviation safety experts have pointed to the blowout as just the latest example of a deeper problem at the manufacturer. They argued that the company needs a cultural change. Pearson said that returning the Max 9 to service was, quote, another example of poor decision-making, and it risks the public safety. Last week, FAA officials announced that Max 9 planes would be allowed to fly again once the 171 grounded aircraft had undergone specified inspections and repairs. Most of those planes belong to Alaska Airlines and United Airlines. You hear that, folks? Alaska Airlines and United Airlines have most of these planes.
Do you know what's funny? You know how many times I've been mad on the phone at United, threatening to go on something and trash United, and there's no need for me to ever do that.
You know what? I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but we'll discuss this later because we're doing a WikiLeaks story. I was just booking my flight to go to London for day X for the Assange hearings, and when I was going through the discount websites, United.
Oh.
Nobody wants to fly that shit now. And I didn't book a United. I was like, fuck that. I don't care. It's not worth my life,
dude,
man.
I was on a United terror list, like a watch list. I go to the airport.
You were?
I was working for, and I remember, because I can't remember what they did that made me furious. Some probably dicking around with my carry-on, or some other canceled my flight and used not a refund for whatever reason. But I went off on Twitter on them, and it was something. So I found out later, I tweeted something about how United Flight 93 is like known, probably one of their best flights. Okay, I was something to that effect. I had funny shit about them on there. Okay, so I get real mad and I forget about it. I was enraged and I tweet this and I forget about it. So I'm on a flight to a job now, and I'm with a coworker, right? And we're talking. They go, and the guy is typing my thing in. He goes, all right, I got a call. And it's like a red phone. I swear to God that he's got a call. And I'm like, you're on like a watch list? And I'm like, what? And then I have to, he's talking.
So it's just that airline though. You're not on like a government watch list. It's just United.
It's United. He goes,
so that might have saved your life, Kurt.
What?
Yeah.
What?
That might have saved your life. You're lucky you got on that watch list.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think of that.
I was expecting a far more complicated story as to how you ended up on their watch list. No, I made a joke about how it was good that terrorists crashed the plane.
No, I didn't say it was good. I said on a scale of
yeah, it was
United
probably their
flights,
best flight. We got
it's
it. We
not
got
good.
it.
Near the worst.
The Jacobson, Jacobson, the former FAA engineer, said that allowing the planes to fly again was premature, noting that he and other safety advocates have been sounding the alarm about numerous safety problems on both the Max 9 and Max 8 and Max 9 for years. Quote, instead of fixing one problem at a time and then waiting for the next one, fix all of them, Jacobson said. He compared it to playing whack-a-mole, waiting for the next problem to pop up. Maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month. Now, I got to say, these guys have a lot of credibility because they've been saying this for years, and I've been following it, and now exactly what they said was going to happen. This is exactly what they were saying when we first covered it on our show, that, hey, the way that they're doing this in the factory, inevitably, these things are going to come to a head. Now, this is maybe the scariest thing in this article to me and the craziest thing in this article to me. Last year, the Seattle Times reported that Maxes have a serious defect in the engine anti-ice system. The FAA has warned that pilots must limit the use of the flawed system to 5 minutes, or else debris could break off that could result in loss of control of the airplane. Now, why are they allowed to fly this plane?
So,
like, I mean, you know, this isn't like your pickup truck with a faulty transmission. Like. This is a fucking all right. It's all right. Just don't go over 4 minutes 59 seconds with the de-icer, and everything should be under control. That's crazy to me that they approve the plane to fly with that defect. You just have to shut it down. What the fuck is that's insane. Boeing was seeking an engineer exemption from the FAA for the anti-ice system on its MAX 7, but withdrew it Monday, Reuters reported. So the 5-minute rule, that wasn't good enough for them. They just wanted to get rid of the rule altogether. Wow. The airline said half of its inspections were completed by the end of Monday, and the full MAX 9 fleet is expected to be flying again by the end of the week.
They did the inspections.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Its first MAX 9 departed Friday from Seattle, landing about an hour late in San Diego that night. Okay.
What chump was on that plane? I bet they were wearing masks. Can you imagine going down in one of those things wearing a mask the whole way down?
It's
a good airline for the COVIDians to fly now, because it sounds like they're offering outdoor seating.
Boeing is a great example. We're going to be talking about Malay a little later, and you know, there are people who feel that getting rid of regulations and leaving things to the free market is something that solves everything. Boeing is a case study on why that's not true, particularly when you're talking about fucking airplanes. Because what happened was Boeing was a company of engineers that turned into a company of traders. They merged with McDonnell Douglas, which had a very different culture, a much more Wall Street oriented culture, and they took over the C-suite. And they wound up making business decisions for building fucking airplanes based on what would juice the stock price. And now all of that is coming home to roost in planes that were built in an unsafe way because they jobbed out the construction to the lowest bidder, which is not what you want to do, presumably, when you're talking about a fucking 757.
Wait, the problem with literally every business in America and around the world, it turns out, which is it's founded by some guy who gives a shit about it, or lady or whatever, then they leave and some jag off Wall Street.
The Wall Street people get a hold of it.
I mean, the same, you know what's so upsetting is just what you said. I've heard this story. No, you've been here, if you hear with like nerd bullshit, right? Movies and video games and all the entertainment crap, or football, or take your pick of whatever thing, and then like, planes, airplanes you're doing this with. Right. That's how theoretical human life is to you. Like the FTX, that kid. People are just sacks of probability. That's his big quote. People are just probability bags. That's how they think.
Right. Well, they think in terms of the quarter. They don't think beyond the quarter. And this is, look, I mean, for me personally, I understand the argument that over-regulation can kill creativity and initiative, but that's really not our problem at this moment in our history. At this moment in our history, the problem is late-stage capitalism.
Yeah, that also kills creativity.
The institutions, right, the institutions of government have eaten the regulatory state to the point that you have the FAA telling them, oh, it's okay that you have a de-icer on this plane that will crash the plane if it's on for over 5 minutes. Just don't run it for over 5 minutes. If that's not late-stage capitalism, I don't know what is. Keaton, you have anything?
I mean, high-speed rails looking better and better.
Looking at, yeah, if we would build it, that's a whole other issue.
I believe in having a substantial percentage of my financial future secured with gold and silver. This is actually real. This is true. I'm putting about 25% of my retirement. I never even thought about this stuff before. Yeah. That's why I decided to partner with our sponsor, Colonial Metals Group. They helped me set up a safe and secure self-directed IRA. You know what that is, Jackie? Self-directed IRA, where I have access to my assets no matter what the stock market, and for that matter, whatever the government is doing as well. Let the team of experts at Colonial Metals Group help you protect your family's future. We've put together a special offer for our audience. Click on the link in the description below or call our special 800 number and you'll receive a safe and up to 10 grand in free silver. Go to colonialmetals.com/Jimmy-Dore-show or call 888-910-1419. Hey, come see us do a live stand-up show. We're going to be in Omaha, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Lansing, Michigan, Bend, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Philadelphia, Avenel, New Jersey, Boston, Palm Springs, and more. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets. See you at a live show.